Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my Hot Topics series. This time we are doing part 2 of our class, Gambling in the Human Brain. Here, the write-up for the class is important because we're going to be focusing on the issue of evolution and gambling. We often make stupid decisions when gambling, but if you look at how monkeys behave in the same situation, we might see that there's a bigger issue, a bigger pattern that goes back across the species. Come in and let's find out why. Well, first a little bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means when you're not speaking, turn off your microphone so we can keep the classroom nice and quiet. When you are speaking, I want you to tune in to the new words you're learning. Use them as actively as you can so I can correct you and give you feedback. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is a little bit about me. Let's see who's out there. Hello, Dima. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to put this back on the screen where we left off. And I'm going to scroll down. Wow, how did this get to be pink? Someone was nice enough to change the color of my font, but I don't know why. Unfortunately, Anonymous, I'm going to have to get rid of this. Sorry. Although I like pink, it doesn't work here. Sorry. So let's give everyone a minute or two. Sometimes people join a little bit late, and then we'll.
And could you please put this link, the link on this document in the chat box again?
Sure. 1 second. Today the Verbling chat window is not open, so I have to put it inside. So something broke today. I don't know what it is. But there you go. And for the rest of you, everyone, if you don't have the link, remember you can always get it here underneath the video window. And hopefully Adrian will be back as well. And the rest of you, Adrian's back. I knew he wouldn't let me down. Okay, and everyone else watching, even if you weren't in the first part last hour, don't worry, because we're going to be talking about the issue from a very different perspective. If you were here, I want you to try to use those vocabulary words that we worked on, those expressions. So think about how you could use these to talk about what we're going to be reading about in just a minute. And if you want to review, just go to page 6. We've got the sentences already filled in. Okay? So afford to lose, stake something, or stake your future on, to arrive at wealth, to arrive at something great, to have millions, to dream about, to be fueled by. All of those were good key expressions from the text. So, let's take a look at this. Let's see how long it is. I think it's a page and a half. So it's not that long, but interesting, and I think it gives us a different perspective. In the first hour, we talked about our personal feelings. Was it a good idea to gamble? Was it a bad idea? Was it worth taking a risk? We also talked about the sociological aspect. Should it be legal? Should it be illegal? Let's talk about it from the biological perspective. So everyone, let's do the same as before. We'll take maybe 2 paragraphs each. This is about a page and a half. And afterwards, I've got some questions for you to consider on page 10. And then the rest of the class, we're going to be talking about gambling in general, or specifically from what you read about and what you learned from the article. So I've got lots of discussion questions as well. So let's go up here to page 8. If there's any I didn't put any vocabulary words, so if there's any questions, just ask at any time. And don't forget the little trick. If you want to put a definition, my trick is to use the search operator cite, : then I use this dictionary, vocabulary.com. You can see this in the chat window as well. But you could put any website you want after the cite operator. And then it'll allow you to link, and you can turn the word into a hyperlink. And here's an example. Let's take the word fallacy. If I right-click, I go to research. See the research link? Whoops. It opens a window on the right side. You see fallacy. Okay, lots of definitions, but I don't want Wikipedia. So I write vocabulary.com, and there it is. I click insert link, and it's done. So when I review this article later, I don't just review it, but I go back to the difficult words, and if I need to, click the link, and I can load them into the background, so I can quickly refer to them later. So here, fallacy at dictionary.com says, see, the reason I like this is because it gives you a kind of an explanation, not just a definition, like an everyday kind of explanation. A fallacy is a misleading argument or belief based on falsehood. If you oppose state testing in schools, you think it is a fallacy that educational quality can be measured by standardized tests. So they take things from the newspapers or from magazine articles and they just put them there to give you a quick reference. Then below, you've got the definition, synonyms, and then you've got all these examples from the internet. They do not understand the fallacy of their reasoning, all of those things, okay? So you can use that, or you can use Word Reference or Oxford Dictionary, whatever you like. Let's read this and find out how monkeys gamble, shall we? Who's going to start?
Okay, I can start.
Please do.
Okay. Why we gamble like monkeys? When we gamble, something odd and seemingly irrational happens. It's called the hot hand fallacy. I believe that your luck comes in streaks, and it can lose you a lot of money. Win on roulette, and your chances of winning again aren't more or less. They stay exactly the same, but something in human psychology resists this fact, and people often place money on the premise that streaks of luck will continue. The so-called hot hand. The opposite superstition is to bet that a streak has to end, in the false belief that independent events of chance must somehow even out. This is known as a gambler fallacy and achieved notoriety at the Casino de Monte Carlo on 18 August 1913. The ball fell on black 26 times in a row. As the streak lengthened, gamblers lost millions betting on red, believing that the chances changed with the length of the round blacks.
So, let's put that in everyday language.
Okay.
And let's also clarify what some of these things mean. So, let's first go to, where was roulette? Gambler's fallacy. Where was roulette? I lost the word.
Roulette. First link, first paragraph.
Oh, right. Okay. So look at this. Let's take a look at roulette.
Roulette is a game.
Here, you can see a picture. See it down here? That's roulette. That wheel. See it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just put a I'll put a link to, again, I don't like these definitions. I'll put my own definition there. I don't like those definitions. I'll put a link to vocabulary.com. But if you see the picture, you know what it is. So we got two things to clarify here. Hot hand and gambler's fallacy. So I'll ask these questions on the side. What is the gambler's fallacy? And what is the hot hand? Because it's not just the concept that matters, it's the English that matters. Because we can use hot hand all the time to be expressive. You don't do that unless you've got a hot hand, right? So it's a good expression too. So, Piotr, what do you think? What's the main idea of the gambler's fallacy, and where did it come from? What happened in Monte Carlo?
Okay, the general idea is that people believe that good passa, good luck, have to end. No, it's not a good explanation. People,
no, it's a good explanation. That your good luck has to end. It has to run out.
Has to end, and
the opposite
yes.
too. And the opposite, that the good luck happens in streaks. What's a streak?
Streak? I don't know.
Yeah. Take a look over here. Luck runs in, the gambler's fallacy, part of it is that luck runs in streaks. Here's a definition. Streak is a mark that makes you feel, or what makes you feel like trying to wipe the streak of permanent marker. It's a bad example. Let me find a better one. Winning streak. There you go. Winning streak and losing streak. So let's put winning streak here. Look at this. They give an example in losing streak. They're seeing that now, such in the 4-game losing streak. So when you have sports, your team can be in a 4 or 5 game losing streak. That means they lose 4 games in a row. So what's a streak then? Based on that idea.
If something lasts some time,
that's it.
That have to end in nearly future.
Exactly. So that period when it lasts, the gambler's fallacy is that we magically believe that there's a reason for it lasting and that it's going to end. And in reality, it doesn't have to last and it doesn't have to end. And that was the problem at Monte Carlo. Everyone thought it was going to end, so they kept betting on red, and it didn't end. And the casino earned millions, and the people lost millions, if that's clear. So these are really good keywords. Hot hand, gambler's fallacy, winning streak, losing streak, and that's it. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes.
Go for it, Adrian.
Yeah, streak. The meaning of streak is but lucky. Streak is
yeah, that's it. Lucky streak.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. A streak of luck. Unfortunately, I can't really. Let's put this here for streak. Let me add that. Can I answer this? Yeah, here we go. Reply. We say a streak of luck, and then you can say, which is the same as a winning streak, or you can have a losing streak. But the idea is always the same, that something is making it go on and on and on, and in reality, there's nothing making it go on. It's just our perception of the event. So just because the ball fell on black 26 times doesn't mean that it won't fall 27th time. There's no reason to think, scientifically, there's no real reason to think it will, unless someone's cheating. That could be. So Adrian, why don't you take the next part here?
Yeah. Why do people act this way time and time again? We can discover intriguing insights, it seems, by recruiting monkeys and getting them to gamble too. If this animal make dumb choices like us, perhaps it could tell us more about ourselves. Also, uh, let's look at what makes some games particularly likely to trigger these effects. Many results in games are based on a skill element, so it makes a reasonable sense to bet. For instance, that a top striker like Lionel Messi is more likely to score a goal than a low-scoring defender.
Just take a look at some words here, though. 1 second.
Mhm.
Likely.
Yeah.
See it? Likely.
Likely?
Trigger.
Oh, trigger.
Right. Trigger. Striker.
Striker.
There you go. And up here, I think, I wasn't sure if I heard this right. Intriguing.
Intriguing.
That's it. So, according to the article, Adrian,
Yeah.
why is it not completely irrational? It's not completely crazy to believe in a streak. And to give the example with Messi. Although with Messi, I don't know if I'd believe that. But anyway. Why is it not completely crazy to believe in streaks? According to the author here. What do you think?
I think because we relate the bet with other kind of activity as a soccer that in the soccer there are two elements, the lucky and
Luck.
the skills.
Luck and skill. Right. Luck and skill.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're saying. There's two elements, luck and skill.
Yeah.
So we know that Messi is skilled, so it's not completely crazy to think that there can be a winning streak because of the skill. And that is what we need to keep in mind for the next part. The difference between luck and skill. Do we confuse these things? Okay? So, I think Dima, you're up.
Yeah, this is my turn. Yet plenty of games contain randomness. For truly random events like roulette or the lottery, there is no force which makes clumps more or less likely to continue. Consider coin tosses. If you have tossed 10 heads in a row, your chance of throwing another head is still 50 by 50?
50-50.
50-50. Although, of course, at the point before you've thrown away, the overall odds of throwing 10 in a row is still minuscule.
Minuscule. Good. That's it.
The hot hand and gambler's fallacies both show that we tend to have an unreasonable faith in the non-randomness of the universe.
That's a good sentence, by the way. We have an unreasonable faith in the non-randomness of the universe. Very good sentence. Go ahead.
As if we can't quite believe that those coins or roulette wheels or playing cards really are due to the same chances on each flip, spin, or deal. It's a result that sometimes makes us sneer at the irrationality of human psychology, but that conclusion may need revising.
Sneer. What is sneer?
I don't know. Sneer.
Look at... I had a good picture there for a second. I put a definition, but let me go back to that picture. Look at that picture of Dick Cheney. See him?
Uh-huh.
See Dick Cheney?
Yes.
What's he doing?
I know it's hard to say. It's grimace.
He's sneering. That's his natural look. He likes to sneer. So that's a sneer. But it also means that if you're sneering at someone, do you feel equal to them or do you feel above them? Demon.
Above them?
Exactly. To sneer is not just an expression, it also means to look down on someone, to condescend. So, why might we condescend? Why might we condescend to people, according to the author, who think that if you toss the coin 10 times, we're more likely, sorry, if we toss heads 10 times, we're more likely to get tails on the 11th. In reality, it's the exact same chance. It's still 50-50. So why, according to the author, might we sneer at someone who believes the 11th time will be tails, or the 27th time in roulette will be the red? Why might we sneer at them, according to the author? What do you think, Dima?
According to the what?
According to the author of this text.
Author, okay. It seems like that I don't understand the reason why.
Give your opinion. It's all right.
Because I think that chances are equal. And,
exactly. And do they think the chances are equal? Do they, the people who believe in the hot hand, do they think the chances are equal?
No, they don't think so.
Precisely. So the author is saying we might sneer at people who don't understand probability, who don't understand the odds. We might sneer at them because it seems obvious to us. However, maybe there's a biological reason that is deeper than just someone's personal opinion. Maybe. Let's find out. Cross-species gambling. I'll read this one paragraph, then I'll turn it back over to you. Cross-species gambling, an experiment reported by Tommy Blanchard of the University of Rochester in New York State and colleagues, shows that monkeys playing a gambling game are swayed, oh, what a good word, to be swayed, and I'll put a link for you too. There it is. I'll come back to it in a minute. Monkeys playing a gambling game are swayed by the same hot hand bias as humans. Their experiments involved 3 monkeys controlling a computer delay with their eye movements, indicating their choice by shifting their gaze left or right. In the experiment, they were given 2 options, only one of which delivered a reward. When the correct option was random, the same 50-50 chance as a coin flip, the monkeys still had a tendency to select the previously winning option, as if luck should continue, clumping together in streaks. So that's the experiment that they performed. 2 words are important: swayed and bias. So, I'll put links for you, but if I'm swayed by an argument, do I believe the argument? If you have an argument and you sway my opinion, do I believe you or do I not believe you?
Not believe you.
Not?
Not.
Are you sure?
No, now I'm not sure.
You tell me Santa Claus, Father Christmas, is real. I say, no, Santa Claus is not real. And then you show me a picture of Santa Claus, and I say, okay, I believe you now. You have swayed me. So, has my opinion changed?
Yes, it's changed.
It has changed. So to sway is to change someone's opinion. By the way, you have to do more than show me a picture of Santa Claus. Okay?
Okay.
It's not enough. And what about bias? So people, they are swayed. It means their opinions are changed. The experiment shows that monkeys playing a gambling game are swayed. That means their opinions are influenced. Their opinions are changed or influenced by the same bias as humans. What is bias? I put a link, but tell me in your own words. What is bias?
When you don't know something, certain topic, but have an opinion, irrational opinion about something.
Exactly. Exactly. And where do we think of bias usually? If you read about some case of bias in the news, what's it usually about? When we think of a biased person, what do we normally think of? Because we have scientific bias, but we also have kind of cultural bias too. So what comes to mind when you think of a biased person, Dima?
For example,
don't say me.
Bias, I don't know, bias against black people.
Right, prejudice. So we normally think of prejudice, like racial prejudice, so bias like that, or against women or against minorities. So bias is a normal word we use all the time to mean racial, gender, whatever, homophobia. All that is bias. Okay? So two really good English words to use because they're normal, to sway an opinion and to have bias. Okay, let's turn it back over to you. Who is next?
Okay, I can.
Go for it.
The reason the result is so interesting is that monkeys aren't taught probability theory at school. They never learn theories of randomness or pick up complex ideas about chance events. The monkeys' choices must be based on some more primitive instincts about how the world works. They can't be displaying irrational beliefs about probability because they cannot have false beliefs, in the way humans can about how luck works. Yet they show the same bias.
Monkeys don't go to school, do they?
And what's going on? The researchers argue is that it's usually beneficial to behave in this manner. In most of life, chains of success or failure are linked for good reason. Some days you really do have your eye on your tennis serve or everything goes wrong with your car on the same day because the mechanics of the parts are connected. In these cases, the events reflect an underlying reality, and one you can take advantage of to predict what happens next. An example that works well for the monkeys is food. Finding high-value morsels like ripe fruit is a chance event, but also one where each instance isn't independent. If you find one fruit on a tree, the chances are that you'll find more.
Wow. So, the monkeys didn't go to school, but the monkeys think that the 27th turn of the roulette wheel will be red because it's been black for 26 times. Right? That's the idea. And they think that because, well, they don't really think the way we do. So why do they have that belief? What's the article saying? Why do they have that belief?
Article saying that monkeys took this behavior from their previous experience from life. That a good example is tree of fruits. When you find this tree of fruits and you got one, that there are many chances, good chances that you get more.
If you find one banana, there's probably a bunch.
Yes.
So it's not their experience though. It's their evolution. It's not something that they think. It's their genes. They're not thinking it. They're programmed to think it. That's what the article is saying, though. Just to be clear, it's true that they can think. Of course, they can think, and they might make a decision in a way, not quite like the way we would. But I think the article is saying that it's evolution. They've evolved to look for these patterns. They're seeking out patterns because maybe it's more likely to think if there's a banana tree in front of you with lots of bananas, and you pick up one and eat it, and you turn your back and forget that there's a banana tree. You know what I'm saying? If you don't see the connection there, then you could starve. So it's like a survival instinct. Believing in fallacies is a way to survive. Wow. Think about that for a minute. Let's see. We got a little bit more here, so let's go to... Oh, last paragraph. We're done. I didn't know we were done. The wider lesson for students of human nature is that we shouldn't be quick to call behaviors irrational. Sure, belief in the hot hand might make you bet wrong on a series of coin flips, or worse, lose a pot of money. But it may be that across the time span in evolution, thinking that luck comes in clumps turns out to be useful more often than harmful. I didn't realize we had missed the last paragraph. So, class, now that you've read both of those articles, it says, what would you do? No, I don't want to say what would you do. Would you play the lottery if it was big or if it was small? So now that you know a little bit about this, would you now be more likely to play a game that's risk-taking or to play the lottery? Has your opinion been swayed in any way? Hello?
What does it mean in this case? What it was big or if it was small?
Sorry. Jackpot was big, or if it was small, high or low.
Uh-huh.
Now that you know that there's something biological behind the way we think about risk, are you more likely to play the lottery now? And if so, would you play it? Maybe that's the part that's not clear. If so, would you, if the jackpot was big or small? Just an opinion question now. Just an opinion.
Okay, for me personally, I would play if it don't depends on the size of jackpot.
You've been paying attention to the article. That's what I wanted to know.
I would play.
It doesn't matter.
I would play if I want to have a joy or fun, and it would be a relatively small amount of money that I have to bet.
Okay.
But
So
it's not
the size of the bet, not the size of the jackpot.
exactly. But
Right.
It wouldn't be harmful for me and for my family budget.
Right. That's what I wanted to know. Because if you said yes, then you might not have been paying attention. Would you be more likely to play now? Well, the answer is, of course, you can't be more likely to play now because you know that it's completely random. And if you think it's not, then you're a monkey. Don't be a monkey. No, but the point is that if you think it's not, in other words, if the jackpot is big, like it is now, $500 million, there's no reason to be more likely to play it now than any other time because your chances haven't changed. By the way, let's take a quick look at what your chances are. There's a little article I found which talks about the math. So why don't we take a quick look at the math? It's very interesting. Up here, I've got an article from Slashdot. It's interesting to know what the statistics really are. Let's take a look. Adrian, this is really short. It's just 2 paragraphs. Want to read the first one for us? Let's take a look at the math. This is someone writing in to talk about the lottery that's happened on this week. I don't know. Can you see it?
It is too small.
Give me a second.
Oh, okay.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Neil Irwin writes
So
at the
Neil Irwin was the author we just read in the beginning. That was the
yeah.
first article.
Okay. At the New York Times that financially literally people like to complain that buying lottery ticket is among the silliest decision a person could make, but there are a couple of dimensions that this uh, top that warnings miss. Perhaps fooled by a class
Fueled. Fueled.
fueled
Mhm.
fueled by a class divide between those who commonly buy lottery tickets and those who chose the throwaway money or another thing like expensive wine or martial. According to Irwin, as long as you think about the purchase of lottery tickets the right way, purely a consumption about consumption good or
Listen, purely
purely
good.
purely purely a consumption good, not an investment. It can be a completely rational decision.
So according to
But
Irwin, it's not crazy to play the lottery as long as you don't think about it like an investment because you don't know if you're going to win. And that's where people go wrong with this. Keep going.
yeah, fantasy about the what you would
Fantasizing.
fantasizing about what you would do if you suddenly encountered great wealth is fun, and it is a more fun if there some chance, however minuscule, that it could happen, says Irwin. The $2 price for a ticket is a relatively small one to pay for enjoyment of thinking through how you might organize your life differently if you had all those millions.
Okay, so there's a psychological reason why this might be positive because it lets you think about the future. So it's not necessarily bad. You only paid $2 and it helps you think because you're excited. It's a stimulus. That's the basic idea. Piotr, the second and last paragraph. Let's look at the odds.
Okay. Right now, the Multi-State Lottery Association estimates the chances of winning the grand prize at about 1 in 175 million, and the cash value of the prize at 337.8 million,
Point eight
.8 million
dollars.
dollars. The simplest math points to that $2 ticket having an expected value of about $1.93. So while you are still throwing away money when buying a lottery ticket, you are throwing away less in strictly economic terms when you buy into an
Unusually.
unusually large Powerball jackpot. I'm the type of financial decision maker who tracks bond and currency markets and builds elaborate spreadsheets to simulate outcomes of various retirement saving strategies, says Irwin. I can easily afford to spend a few dollars on Powerball ticket. Time to head up to the convenience store to just do that. To do just that. Oh my God.
And to do just what? What's Irwin going to do, Piotr?
Mm,
What's he going to do?
he gonna buy the ticket
Yeah.
for Powerball lottery.
And is Irwin some dumb jerk?
No, probably he's
No,
not dumb
not at
jerk.
all. Not at all. He's quite wealthy because he's a financial analyst. He's a financial decision maker who tracks bonds, currency markets. He deals with pension funds and retirement. So he gets paid a lot of money to make other people money. So he's not crazy here. He has the math. What do you think about those odds? 1 in 175 million. 175 million to 1. Those are the odds of winning.
Yeah, it's very small, but there is so chances you can still win, you know.
You can't win if you don't play.
Yeah, exactly. You have to try.
I don't know if I'm going to try, but we'll see. Let me go back down here to the questions. So keeping in mind the possible evolutionary link and what Irwin, the writer, the financial advisor, was saying, these questions are not. These are really from earlier. I don't know. Maybe I want to change these a little bit. This one is not a bad one, though. What do you think of Mr. Irwin's reasoning that buying a lottery ticket is usually a terrible financial investment, but that it can be completely rational or a rational decision if you enjoy dreaming of winning? It's an unusual opinion. What do you think about that opinion? Do you agree with him? All of you, what do you think?
I think that it's rational decision because a lot of people spend money for fun, like wine, yes,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
stuff like that. It's the same.
Stupid, unnecessary things.
Yeah,
For
because
fun.
necessary is only food and water, you know,
Right.
and that's it. But we all spend money on for fun. In the same cases with lottery, you spend money for fun of dreaming
Yeah.
about money.
So you agree with him. It's not a
Yeah.
bad idea.
Yes, it's a good idea.
By the way, just to correct you, the necessary things are food, water, and cats.
And what? What the third
Cats.
thing? Cats?
Cats.
I don't know.
Yes, it's true. Food, water, and cats, the three basic ingredients. If you don't have a cat, you're
I don't
probably
have.
you're not a complete human being.
Okay.
So three important things.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
a small price. So it's interesting. We wouldn't normally think about it that way, but it's makes kind of a point. Some people are into exotic, expensive wines, but maybe freeing up your imagination. I mean, I remember when I was in New York, there's no space. I'm not there now. There's no space. Everyone lives in tiny, cramped apartments. So you go out and you buy a coffee to have your own space because there's no privacy where you're living, especially when you're a student. So I used to go to cafes just to be able to read and write and think because in a way no one would bother me. And if I was in my room, especially as a student, people are playing music or being loud or whatever. So it was a very small price to pay. Okay, now I'm addicted to espresso, but could be worse addictions. So I kind of understand what he means. Do any of you have an experience like that? Would you rather, do you think that dreaming is a luxury? Would you rather spend the money on something physical or tangible? What do you think, Adrian? Would you rather spend it on something, or do you think spending it on a dream is not a bad idea?
I think is is it's good. Daydreams about what could be if you have a money. I think it is normal. Uh,
So what you're saying is it's not unhealthy.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
unhealthy to do that.
The problem is when you become an addict.
Right.
Yeah, it's an addict to uh, in gambling. Yeah.
Can you become addicted to gambling? Class, is it possible? Some people would say no. Is it possible?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So what's the difference between doing it for fun and doing it out of a compulsion that you can't control. What's the difference? Maybe it's an obvious question. I don't know. But what do you think? Where's the line? Where do you draw the line?
Oh, well, go ahead. I don't know.
No,
In one,
I'm asking your opinion.
I think
Ah.
in one case, sorry?
Go for it,
No,
yes.
go ahead, go ahead.
I think in one case you don't have any expectations about money and price and so on. The process is pleasure for you. You buy and you wait, and you have a chance, and this is fun for you, but not a price. And in the second, this process is terrible. You wait and wait, it's only money.
So you're addicted when you're not having fun, basically. That's the idea. Yeah?
Yeah, if you don't consider it like investment, you buy it for fun, you win every time you buy
Right.
lottery tickets.
That's actually that's a good point. If you're not actually enjoying what you're doing, then why are you doing it? So you're doing it because you have a false belief that you have special information that'll help you win. So therefore, you're not enjoying the process. So that's actually interesting. I see what you mean. And Adrian, what were you going to say? I think we cut you off.
Yes, I am. I agree with you. I think when only thinking about gambling or
Winning.
oh,
Or only thinking about, or winning, only thinking about winning.
or winning, it is a problem. Yeah.
So maybe that's when it becomes unhealthy. Hey, what do you think about this idea? We read about how monkeys have the same gambler's fallacy as humans. So if they in a test, they would assume that they're going to get the reward if they keep doing the same action they were doing before, even when it's a random situation. So that means there's something genetic about risk-taking. We're maybe we're descended from monkeys, so we're maybe predisposed to the same kind of thinking. Does that mean that people who gamble and who are addicts, does that mean that they're genetically addicts? Do you think it's a hereditary disease? You see what I mean? Piotr, what do you think about this? Do you think you can inherit gambling addiction?
No, I don't think so. I think that we all have this kind of thoughts because it's human nature, but just some people lost control about it. Because this is very necessary to have this kind of things, of thoughts, because this is very useful in normal life. When you, for example, get something, normal life, you go for it, and you can achieve more and more. This is very useful in normal life, but they just turn into bad roads. Yeah.
I remember the one and only time I was at a casino. One and only time, watching people at the slot machine, and they would do this: coin chink, coin chink, coin chink, coin chink, for hours. And I thought that couldn't be normal. and I also thought it couldn't be enjoyable, but apparently there are people who really do this. They do it professionally. I'm not joking. This is really their job, whether it's good or bad. And just this mechanical motion, waiting for the reward. It seems to me that has to be genetic, that somehow they're getting something, I don't know, endorphins or something. Something's going on in their brain.
Maybe dopamine,
Maybe that?
Dopamine, this hormone. People are addicted from dopamine.
What is the word?
Dopamine.
What is...
Dopamine.
Oh, dopamine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They're getting some kind of dopamine rush.
When they push button and still play, the small amount of dopamine is producing, and
right.
The same thing with Facebook, for example. The same.
Liking,
Yeah.
clicking the like button, poking.
Yeah. A lot of people put their photos just to get like, and
Right.
when they get like, they have small dopamine.
Yes, a little. We say a little rush.
A little
Rush.
rush.
Exactly.
Or try to check new messages in emails or something like that.
Like every 5 seconds.
Every 5 seconds, check your emails.
Yeah. Like I'm doing right now as I'm speaking to you. Seeing my Twitter feed constantly. Because you never know. You never know. Something might be there. You never know. It never is, but you never know. Well, what do you think about, so that was about whether it's genetic. Is there a difference, do you think, between men and women? Do you think that men are more likely to gamble than women?
I think that men are more likely to each one addiction. I don't know why, but
For all addictions.
yeah, it works like that. Look around. More people, more men are addicted from alcohol, from drugs, from all that stuff.
Is
I
that
don't know
true?
why.
Is that true statistically? What do you think? The rest of you, what do you think about that?
I think there's no difference between men and women in this case.
Why not? From your experience, or just is it your bias, or
because we are all human?
Yeah, but there are differences between men and women, of course. I don't know if you've noticed. There's also hormonal differences.
I think we have this pretty similar brain.
Well, you might be right about that. Actually, there's some other studies which I've read about or seen. I don't remember if I read them or saw them in a documentary that talked about the science of sex, and that in the brain it's exactly the same thing. Even though we think about different sex hormones, but in the brain the process is the same. It looks the same. They can't see a difference between male and female if they do an MRI scan. So you might be right about that. Maybe we are more similar. But I know what Piotr is saying. It does seem like addiction is a very male thing. Like somehow it's very aggressive or something. It does seem that way. So I see what you mean. What about culture? This is interesting. Are different cultures more prone to gambling than others? I have a bias about this, but what do you think? What culture would you expect to be a gambling culture?
It's hard to say.
Would you expect, for example, who do you think would gamble more? Eastern cultures or Western cultures?
I think South cultures.
Really? So you mean the those people in the south of Russia? The Georgians are more likely to gamble than the people in Siberia. Is that right? The Poles are big gamblers, but the Muscovites are not. Is that right? Hey, have you read Russian literature, Dima? Have you read
like what?
like the biggies, like Dostoevsky?
Yes,
you read it?
I read.
That's all they write about. They constantly write about gambling, all of them. Dostoevsky was a huge gambler, and wasn't who else? And Gogol, and weren't they all like big gamblers? Am I crazy? I know Dostoevsky had a real problem with it.
Yes.
It's such a part of Russian culture, so it's not just the South.
Yeah. Firstly, he lived long ago.
That's true.
Not in modern Russia.
That's true. Okay. So in old Russia, gambling was a problem, not in new Russia.
No, in case of Russia and in case of poor countries, I think it depends more not on cultural but on education, on your level of financial education.
Maybe, okay.
And in this case, for slot machines in Russia, at that period of time that was legal, we had a lot of problems with poor people who considered this like time spending, that to have a joy that was one of not many opportunities to get fun or something like that, and
So
to try.
it was an outlet. We call it. It was an outlet, emotional outlet.
It was an outlet.
Yeah. So at the time, the choices were limited, and now that's not the case.
Yes, they didn't understand how gambling affects their lives and lives of their families. It's like alcoholism, and that was a big problem. So authorities banned gambling.
And what about video games? Isn't that a form of gambling? Everyone plays video games, I guess. Isn't that kind of like gambling?
Yes, this is a kind of gambling, but in video games, you don't spend a lot of money. You spend only your time.
A lot of time.
Also bad. A lot of time, that's also bad, but not money.
So I wonder if we should ban video games. Adrian, should we ban video games? What do you think?
What?
Should we ban? What it means to ban? What does it mean to ban something? Look at the chat window. To ban.
Yeah.
Should we ban video games? Because isn't that really just a form of gambling? People are doing it to get a little rush. You're not really doing anything. Of course, we have to clarify what kind of games we're talking about.
Maybe in the brain happened a similar process when you play a video game, but has you don't spend money, the effects, the social effects is are a little bit small. But when
social effects are less.
Yeah, less. Yes. I think.
Well, do you think that children, I mean, I don't know how old you all are, I'm probably the oldest one here, but do you think that children are different after about 40 years of video games? And the little bit of rush you get, the little reward you get when you play a game. Now the games are very sophisticated. But do you think they're different than they used to be? Has it affected us? Some people would say that children are less social than they used to be because they're always looking at a device.
Yeah, I think that everything has influence on us. You know, video games, television. I think that the balance is the key word. We have to find balance, and everything should be okay.
And what are you going to do to help find the balance?
I don't know.
For you and your country. What are you going to do?
Find the balance.
What can we do? Not you. What can we do?
We can make a plan. Okay, I can spend, for example, $20 per month for gambling. I can spend $100 for drinking, and have the plan. And when you see that your plan, you spend instead $100, $200, then you see problem.
Or your entire paycheck, like me.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. So, put people on a kind of a budget.
Yeah.
Sounds good. You think that'll work? Last comments. Do you think that'll work? Dima, is that a good idea? Don't outlaw it. Just make people adhere to a budget. Offer them help. Offer them help in budgeting. What do you think?
I offer help as budget.
Yeah, so that people can see, okay, if you cross this line, you've got a problem. Maybe the point is, if they're given some help, like budgeting their money with a clear line, this is a problem, this is not a problem, then it doesn't really need to be outlawed. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Like social advertisement or something like that, educational?
Yeah, for example. Or even privately, say, look, we can help you with this problem. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, but not only one. We have to use a few means or that to ban or not to ban to, yeah, I think sometimes to ban to do it only in certain areas, gambling areas, and to advertise to explain how gambling could affect your life
Mm-hmm.
and life of your family and your budget and so on. I think it's a complex problem.
It is. And if you think about where gambling is legal in the States, you'll probably realize that it has a very profound effect on the environment. Because go to Las Vegas or Atlantic City, and then leave the casinos and look at the neighborhoods. It's not pleasant. So everyone's drawn there for the gambling. But the local people who live there, who were born there, they have a very different point of view because the area around it is very poor. Another place where people gamble legally is in. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes?
Because
Yes.
my computer just froze. Another place, we've got to go, but just to finish up, another place you can look at online, Google for it, are the Native American reservations. Gambling is legal because the laws are different. Is that good for their community? I don't know. They definitely, it's hard to say. Is the problem that we put them on reservations, or is the problem that they've got no other way to make a living, or is the problem that it's a vice? But one thing is clear. In the areas where gambling is legal, usually the area around it tends to be very poor, at least in the States. In Europe, I don't know. I don't know.